then after I got out of the Navy, I found out that I only needed 3 more courses to graduate. So I missed graduation in 1944 by about 8 or 10 weeks that I would have graduated. So I came back to Tufts, and the first semester I couldn't take the courses. They didn't have the courses that I needed. They were in electrical engineering. It ended up that I went back to school because the government was paying for it, and I took a few courses to pass the time, and and I was I got paid for it, and that sort of thing. Yeah, so after the first semester, the fall semester, I took the courses I needed, and then I graduated in 1947.
So they actually had a ceremony and everything at that time for all you guys, or what?
What, in 47?
Yeah.
Oh, I graduated with the class of 47. I was the class of 45.
Right, I get you.
All right?
Gotcha.
So I had all the pomp and circumstances of the graduation.
Gotcha. All right, that's kind of cool. I know that there's a story about Herbie Kotzen. I think it was Lou Kleiman.
Yeah.
You guys took a trip in a car up to Gloucester maybe, or something on the North Shore. I mean, road trip for you guys. Does this ring a bell at all? I know I've heard this story a couple times. In the car, somebody had a car, and you guys were out doing your thing. What'd you do? Any idea what I'm talking about?
Which one?
How many times, right?
Yeah, which trip you're talking about?
I think it was one in particular. You went up to...
There was one trip...
Portsmouth?
Fellow Herbie Gold,
yeah,
who went to Bates and lived in Chelsea, was a cousin of Herb Kotzen. And, of course, the interesting about Herb Kotzen, we first met when we were going to Tufts the first day, and both of us tried to get in the Naval ROTC, which was the first class at Tufts that was starting. Well, we both couldn't get in because we both were colorblind. So that's how we became friends. And Herbie had a cousin named Herb Gold who lived in Chelsea, and his father was in the waste paper business in Chelsea, North Shore waste paper. I don't know. I know his son was still running it now, and he had a car, and he would travel all over the place.
What kind of car was it? It was a convertible? Was it the convertible?
Well, at one point he had a Buick convertible, which we took a trip through New England. We went up to Algonquin and then Maine, and then from there we went over to the Catskills, and we stayed in various places. Went to Grossinger's and all those, and visited a few of the Borscht hotels, and then that was one of the trips. And we used to go up. We used to go up to Maine quite a few times, spend it in Goncourt, in that area, and that was what we did. This was after the war, and before we went back to school. And no, it was after we all got out of school, and there was, let's see, there's Herb Gold, Herb Kotzen, David Young, and Jordan Sillon. And I think you've seen that picture of the four of us.
Yep. And that was what that picture came from, was that trip.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, that's cool.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah, that's cool.
And
what you told me at lunch today, was it? No, yesterday at dinner. That how'd the baseball come about? This is the I think we need to do the origin of the Yankees autographed baseball.
Oh, you don't know that, Howard?
Well, I kind of do. It had to do with Uncle Eddie Spector.
No.
No?
Uncle Fred.
Uncle Fred Heidelberger.
Heidelberger, that's right.
He had the contact with the Yankees?
Yeah. He used to give, he was in the shirt business, in the sports shirt business. And he would give the ushers and I guess the ticket takers too shirts, and they would let them into the ball game. And we went to the Yankees game that way, and we went to there was a football team, the New York Yankees. I believe it was called the Yankees. And we saw Mark went with me once, and we sat. They didn't have a press box. They had a section of the grandstand. Oh no, wait a minute. The section of the grandstand that was in the World Series that they would set aside for the press.
Mm-hmm.
But the football games, they had a press box, and Mark and I and Uncle Fred sat in the press box, and we watched the New York Yankees football team play. I think that was the name of it. Yeah, sure it was. And that's how we then.
But so, how did Fred get the baseball? Let's go back to the 1920, because I thought it was a 1928 ball.
1926.
1926.
The year before the
27.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll tell you something about the 27 Yankees. There's a gentleman's name on there by the name of Bump Hadley, Irving Bump Hadley. He was from Lynn, Massachusetts, and he was a pitcher for the New York Yankees in that era. And his autograph is on that ball.
That's funny.
And he played baseball with your grandfather, Henry.
Oh, boy.
Okay, at Lynn Classical.
Yeah.
Okay? And fact is, I'll tell you another story you don't know about. I think my father was a pretty good baseball player. And the Detroit Tigers wanted him to sign with them to play baseball. But his mother and father wouldn't let him do it. So that's what happened with him. And he told me that story.
It wasn't exaggerated at all, was it?
I don't know. I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. I don't think so.
And so we're still going to get back to that baseball. So it was the 1926 team baseball. But how did Uncle Fred get that ball? I guess is the question. How did he just? One of the ushers gave it to him.
They gave it to him.
The ushers, in exchange for the shirts.
The ushers. They gave it to him.
And he held it on to it for all those years.
He held it on. You know, he had a son, Herb, who you know.
Loved Herb.
Well,
Professor at UMass.
Huh?
He was a professor at UMass.
Yeah, and that was, you know, he was keeping it for him, and then when Herb died, and when Mother and Charlotte went to New York to bring Aunt Min back to Boston to go into a nursing home in Newton.
Huh. I didn't even know that.
They're cleaning out her apartment, and they come across this ball, and Charlotte just confiscated it to. Well, I wouldn't say confiscated. They gave it to Aunt Charlotte, and Mother said to Aunt Charlotte, "David would love that," and that's how I came across, got the ball.
All right. So Charlotte knew about the ball, and Mother advocated on your behalf.
Charlotte didn't know about the ball.
Well, she knew who Babe Ruth was. She was a baseball fan.
Yeah, not in those days.
Oh, okay, that's right.
It was out. She
60?
became a real baseball fan in 1967, I would say.
Like all of us, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I purchased those tickets for M. Brown.
Right.
That's when she became a baseball fan. But that's how I came across that. That's how I got the ball.
There you go. All right. And that's a good story. All right. So I want to know, you had a job in New Jersey. First of all, I need to know how you and Mother met, because I know this story. It was at a party.
No.
Tell me how, because obviously I get all my facts.
No, you don't know the story.
Of course not, because I get all my facts mixed up.
No.
It all has to do with my sources.
Huh?
It all has to do with my sources. They've never been strong. So tell me how you two met.
We met.
Somebody introduced you.
Huh?
Who introduced you?
Nobody really introduces,
okay,
except Doris Shaves.
Right.
Told me he gave me her number and told me to call her. That she's a nice girl and she's very, very well known. But all that. So I called her. I had a blind date with her, and this was in 1947. Had to be 47. And yeah, and that's how we met.
So do you know a blind date? What you did on that blind date?
Huh?
What'd you do in your blind date?
I don't remember what we did in the blind date. I don't. It was. We went to a movie, or went out. Let's see, 47. No, it's gotta be 47. Yeah, maybe it was 40. Yeah, 47 is the summer of 47. Yeah, that's the fall of 47. That's where I met Mother, and we had an off and on again relationship for 2 years, I guess. And then I went to California in the meantime. And,
right.
You know, it wasn't anything serious.
Right.
Until I came back from California for good and got a job in New Jersey. And then I picked up with her, and I thought we hit it off pretty well. We had a good time. Had a lot of, yeah, it was, sure, we used to go dancing at the Lafayette Hotel on Commonwealth Avenue in Boston. Herbie Kotzen, Herbie Gold, and myself, and whoever else dragged along.
Right.
We knew Herbie Gold knew the maitre d' at the hotel, and we used to go there every Friday night.